Jared here with carbuzz.com, and today I am bringing you a review of the 2019 Toyota Tundra. This one here is the most luxurious 1794 edition, but more on that a little later. Before we get started, be sure to check in the link in the description below to get all of the best deals on the 2019 Toyota Tundra. Now, I mentioned this is the 1794 edition. You can see it here. It's a 1794 edition Tundra right there. And you might be wondering, what the heck is 1794? No, it is not the last time the Toyota Tundra was redesigned, although that was a very long time ago, way back in 2007. How old is this truck? Well, it's got one of these. You gotta put it in the slot and turn it. Yeah, that's what they used to start trucks back in 1794. But so what this actually means is, because Toyota, where it builds the Tundra in Texas, this is basically an American truck, was built on the oldest established cattle ranch in Texas. What year was it established? 1794, by a Spanish colonist named Juan Ignacio de Casanova. Is that a bit of a stretch? Yes. I don't know if anybody's just going to look at 1794 and know exactly what that means. I think they might have been better off just calling it the Cattle Ranch Edition, or maybe the Casanova Edition would have been cool too. But anyway, regardless, let's go ahead and take the 1794 edition out for a drive. I've had a chance to drive almost all of the latest generation of full-size trucks, so that being the Ram 1500, the Silverado 1500, this Tundra. The Ford F-150 is still the king of that sales space. And the Toyota Tundra, since it's been around for so long, you can't really expect anything new and innovative here. It's still old-fashioned V8s under the hood, still old-fashioned leaf spring suspension, still very truck-like ride, truck-like driving experience, truck-like steering. Now let's talk about the powertrains. We've got two available options. The lower two trims of Tundra are available with a 4.6-liter V8 producing 310 horsepower, 327 foot-pounds of torque. No four-cylinder turbos, no V6, nothing. Only V8 options for this big boy Tundra. Since we've got the 1794 edition, which is one of the nicer models, we've got the bigger 5.7-liter V8, 381 horsepower, 401 foot-pounds of torque. Now, those numbers are actually pretty on par with what you'll get from a lot of other V8s, including the 5.7-liter V8 in the Ram, a little less powerful. You can have that going out to rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. We've got the four-wheel drive on this model here. Now, your fuel economy, that's where this truck does not match some of the newer models, even the V8s from GM, because those have cylinder deactivation. They can shut down to become four cylinders. This has no such capability. So fuel economy is rated at 13 in the city, 17 on the highway, 14 mpg combined. It's showing that my tank average is 11. Womp womp. That's pretty terrible. My camera guy Kelso, he's got a 90-something Silverado, and he gets better fuel economy than that. So yeah, if you're looking for the most fuel efficient option, this is certainly not it. Nor is it the most capable truck when it comes to payload or towing. This specific model that we have has a 1,530 pound payload capacity and an 8,800 pound towing capacity. If we got rear wheel drive, we'd actually have a better towing capacity of 9,400 pounds. But even the max towing on this truck is only 10,500. So it is beat out by rivals like the Ram and F-150, though it is worth noting that in a lot of states, if you're going to be towing more than 10,000 pounds, you're going to need a commercial license anyway, so it really doesn't matter all that much. Now, numbers aside, I do like this V8 engine. It's a very strong, very throaty, nice sounding V8. So we're gonna come to a stop. I have it in two-wheel drive mode, which means we're gonna lay down a little bit of a smoky burnout here. 0 to 60 is about 6.5 seconds. Pretty quick for a truck like this. Let's floor it. Ooh, mean sounding engine. It sounds great. I absolutely love the way this engine sounds at full revs. We've got that sliding glass window I'll show you later. That when you lower that, you can hear the exhaust even better. If you go for the TRD Pro version, that's like the off-roady version of this truck, you get like a special TRD exhaust that makes that even more growly and loud from behind the wheel. That seems like a pretty interesting option to me. So yeah, power delivery is actually really nice. It feels quick from behind the wheel. Now, there is one disadvantage to this drivetrain, and that is this 6-speed automatic transmission. The competition has moved on since the Tundra came out. The Ford F-150 has 10 gears. The Ram and the Silverado, they have 8 or 10 gears. So yeah, this 6-speed automatic, just like you find yourself at moments where you want to pass and you either get all or nothing. It really has to downshift, and it's not as elegant or refined as some of those newer trucks, nor is the handling. The steering is really weird to get used to if this is like the first time you've driven a full-size truck. Got this big old steering wheel. You have to do a lot of turning just to make it go around a corner. Very imprecise, although, you know, trucks aren't known for being super precise, but if you want something that drives like a car, you're definitely going to want to look at either the F-150 or the Ram, because this just feels very truck-like. Now, even though this doesn't have adaptive air suspension like the Ram, or even adjustable suspension at all, it's just an old-fashioned leaf spring, it's pretty comfortable in here. It does a very nice job absorbing all of the bumps, as you'd expect a luxury truck to do. We're about to go over some cobblestones. We've got a nice cobblestone road here. Let's see. Yeah, even over these big Florida divots in the road, like I'm about to go over one now. No, it's very cushy, absorbs the bumps really well. So I'm still very impressed with how the Tundra drives. It may not be the most technologically advanced truck by any stretch of the imagination in 2019, but it still brings a smile to my face, and I do enjoy driving it. Now, we're going to go ahead and pull over because we're going to talk about this interior, which, although it is very luxurious, it is starting to feel very old by 2019 standards. Would you look at all of this interior with all of this wood? Because we have the 1794 edition, we have this very unique interior. We have this brown leather. It's very soft, very supple. I happen to love the color. We also have wood trim everywhere on the shifter, on the dashboard, on the steering wheel, you name it, it's got wood almost everywhere you look. Now, this is the most luxurious trim of the Tundra, so it's supposed to be soft in a lot of spots. The seats themselves are these big, cushy recliners. They feel like something you'd sit in at your house rather than a car. I wish there was a little more lumbar adjustment, but overall, it's a very comfortable seat, and most of the materials are good, but there is still a lot of standard fare that you get in the Tundra. Lots of hard plastics up here. All over the dash is this kind of cheap looking silver plastic that's very disappointing in an otherwise soft feeling interior. Down here we've got a lot more plastic as well on this center console. Also a little bit disappointing is the central screen here. We've got Toyota's Entune infotainment system. Not a whole lot new here. We do have built-in navigation. You've got your home menu, which will show audio, map, and your weather. You've got your apps, which are just basic functions like audio, like radio is an application. Now, interestingly enough, this will get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto next year for the 2020 model year, which should jazz up the interior technology quite a bit. We've got our dual zone automatic climate controls here, big chunky buttons for those. Those I do actually really like. Heated and ventilated seats on this 1794 edition model. Since we have four-wheel drive, we've got our little controller here. Just twist over for four-wheel drive high and then push it in and twist again for four-wheel drive low. You'll get a little beep to confirm because you'll have a limited speed with that. You do have an aux and USB cable down here that you can tie to this, although like I said, no smartphone integration just yet. 6-speed automatic with this big old chunky shifter. Throw it in reverse, you've got your basic camera, no trajectory lines if I turned the steering wheel. Up here, we've got our classic Toyota Tundra gauges. They're kind of chunky. They look like a big gear. We've got a very basic central helper screen where you can scroll through and look at fuel economy, radio stations, things like that. Now, there's something very annoying on this truck that I also found on the Tacoma I reviewed a few weeks ago. You can only look at the instant MPG and the tank average, so it's very difficult to just reset it and get fuel economy from a certain start point. You can pull up this little eco screen, which gives you like time readouts of your fuel economy, but I just want to be able to hit reset and know my fuel economy after I get on the highway. This is really difficult and definitely needs a rethink. Now, the Toyota Tundra does come with a lot of safety features standard. You've got adaptive cruise control and lane departure warning here on the steering wheel, although the lane departure warning, it's a bit annoying because this truck is so wide, it's just going to beep at you all the time. You're constantly going to find yourself strolling out of your lane, and the adaptive cruise control does not work below about 25 miles an hour, so it does not work in stop and go traffic. Before we check out the back seat, I want to show everybody this center armrest, which is nice and leather coated. It has 1794 edition written on it. Nice little slot to put your phone here. When you lift up this big old guy, you've got tons of storage space in here. You could almost fit 2 lunch boxes, maybe 4 lunch boxes. And up here on the lid, we have some interesting functions. There's a little thing for card. So if you want to put like maybe your ID, or maybe you have like a swipe key to get into the construction site, you've got little areas to stick some pens and a little tissue holder. Very clever, Toyota. Now let's go ahead and check out that massive rear seat. Back here, tons of space. So the Tundra is available in what Toyota calls a Crew Max body style. That means we've got these humongous rear doors. The windows actually slide all the way down, which is really impressive. Gives you this ridiculous amount of space back here. I have the seat set to my position and I could slide all the way down like this, and my knees are still barely touching the back seat. So in terms of riding back here for a long period of time, I would be perfectly happy sitting back here. This is just a really nice place to be, but no heating or ventilation back here like you'll get on one of the nicer trim Rams. What we do have is the ability to raise the seat back up. It folds up, and so you could lay bigger items like flat on the floor, although there is no like built-in storage back there. And since we only have a 5.5-foot bed, the Tundra has a very unique feature on this rear piece of glass that I'm about to show you. The Tundra includes a sliding rear piece of glass. Usually they have a cutout rear window on these pickup trucks. I think this looks a lot more elegant. It's practical for 2 reasons. Because we only have that 5.5-foot bed, you can put larger items into the cabin. You can take these headrests off to make that a little bit easier. And if you are running with this window down, it does provide a nice breeze since we don't have the sunroof on the trim Toyota sent us. Now let's go ahead and check out that 5.5-foot bed. Back here we've got this 5.5-foot bed. It's the only bed size available if you get the Crew Max, so Toyota is definitely prioritizing passenger space over load capacity. So if you're going to be using it for a lot of truck stuff, this might not be the option for you. I do think the Toyota Tundra is a very handsome looking truck. In the back, we've got the word Tundra stamped real aggressive across the back. We've got our backup camera here. If I pull down the tailgate, it is damped, although we aren't gonna have anything fancy schmancy like GM's new multi-pro tailgate on the GMC trucks, nor is it aluminum, so it's not super light, although it is damped just a little bit. You can't drop it from the key like you can on some newer trucks. Now that we've checked out that, let's go ahead and price out our 1794 edition truck. Let's price out our 2019 Toyota Tundra 1794 edition. So let's start off with the SR trim. That's $31,670. That's going to get you the 4.6 liter smaller V8. You get heated side mirrors, mud guards, a rear view camera, and Toyota's Safety Sense comes standard. That gets you a lot of standard safety equipment. Now the SR5 trim for $33,470, that adds fog lights, that sliding rear window, under seat storage in the rear, and some Tundra badging. The limited trim is where you start getting a little bit nicer for $40,935. Gets you the bigger 5.7 liter V8 as standard, LED headlights, deck rails, chrome mirrors, and automatic climate control inside. The platinum trim for $47,380 is the most luxurious of the Tundra models. You get turn signal indicators, special badging, leather seats with heating and ventilation, JBL audio with built-in navigation, blind spot monitoring, and front and rear parking sensors. The 1794 1794 edition here we have costs exactly the same as the Platinum. It is just as luxurious, but we do get a different interior, special badging, and unique wood trim all around it. You can also get optional 20-inch wheels on the 1794 edition. Now, the most expensive Tundra is the TRD Pro for $49,895. That gets you BBS wheels, a moonroof, a very unique grille, skid plate, Fox suspension, and a tuned exhaust. That is the most expensive and off-road oriented Tundra you can get. Compared to its competition, the Ram is much more car-like and way more luxurious, but fully loaded, you're going to be spending at least $10,000 more. The F-150 is the same way. You can get a much more modern turbocharged engine, but it is also way more expensive with the Platinum trim costing upwards of $70,000. The Chevrolet doesn't look as good as the Tundra in my opinion, but it does have better technology in the dashboard. So summing up our time with the 2019 Toyota Tundra 1794 edition, it's a truck that I enjoy driving. It's pretty luxurious on the inside, soft riding, nice materials, and I think it's a very handsome looking truck, but with an older V8 powertrain, very dated interior technology. I mean, come on, it still uses a key to start. I just can't recommend it that highly since the American trucks just have bigger incentives on them to pull down the price, and they are just much newer both inside and out, which is why the Toyota Tundra is going to earn a score of worth a look. It's still one of the most reliable vehicles money can buy, and it's going to have great resale value, so there is still some reason to consider it, and I do enjoy driving it. And if you liked this video and you'd like to see more, be sure to subscribe to the Carbos YouTube channel and download our apps on iOS and Android to keep up with all of the latest and greatest in automotive news and to see more reviews just like this one. Hope you've enjoyed the video. See you next time.